Hello YouTube and welcome to a new reaction series on the channel, that being for the Tatami Galaxy. This won the poll recently through somewhat dubious means, but it is what it is. Now I know nothing about this show, I've been told to know nothing about this show, and that's the way it is. This will be happening every week. I'll try to get in 2 episodes when I can, pretty much working like any of the other shows on the channel. Other than that, I'm excited to hop right in, but before we do that, I like to do a couple things before we hop into a new show. And that is look at the staff of the show and have a quick squiz at the key visual. Now, one of the most prominent members of the staff is the director and primary scriptwriter, which is Masaki Yuasa, one of the most famous directors going around at the moment. If you're in some kind of thread about who's your favorite director, who's your favorite anime director, a lot of people will say Masaki Yuasa. But however, he is a director I have a personal, strange relationship with, but we'll get to it. He's arguably best known for his work on Devilman Crybaby and Ping Pong the Animation, 2 shows which I have not seen, so I have not seen his most well-regarded work. He established Science Saru in 2013, an anime studio which produces a lot of his own stuff, with some notable exceptions, including Naoko Yamada's Heike Monogatari, as well as Shinichiro Watanabe's Space Dandy. Also, Yurei Deko, which is airing currently, which I don't know if you've seen that, but that show's kind of like crazy. Yuasa also often works with Kensuke Ushio, who is not only one of my favorite anime composers, but one of my favorite artists going around. I'll just flick on his music anytime. Such a great composer, really enjoy his work. Yuasa recently released something called Inu O, which I have no idea what that is, but it came out in Japan very recently. I haven't seen many of his theatrical works, such as Ride Your Wave and Night is Short Walk On Girl, which seems to have some sort of connection to Tatami Galaxy, at least in the staff and kind of art style departments. My personal history with Yuasa, now we're getting to it, is a bit contrary to popular wisdom. I thought Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken was straight up bad. I think it was kind of pandering, it kind of went nowhere. You could watch the first episode and you would get the same feeling as watching all 12. Again, just wasn't for me, nothing against the people that like it, it's just, again. Conversely, I think Japan Sinks 2020 is actually kind of underrated. People meme on the bad scenes in that show, and they are bad, and they are very funny. But I think there are enough equally good scenes to kind of match it. I like the overall message of the show, which is another contentious point, and it's kind of buoyed by one of Kensuke Ushio's best scores to date. So, with all this combined, I hope Tatami Galaxy's good. It seems to be another one of his really well regarded shows, so fingers crossed. The series composition and the script were by Makoto Ueda, who is a Tokyo based playwright representing Europe Kikaku, which is a theatre studio. Seems to be linked with The Night is Short Walk On Girl, as well as the upcoming Tatami Time Machine Blues. So it seems to be linked with kind of this whole staff system thing that they have going on. He also wrote Penguin Highway, which I watched like half of and thought was fine. So that's about my experience with old Makoto Ueda. Music by Michiru Oshima. Nothing particularly I'm familiar with, but seemingly has worked on a lot of stuff in a lot of different mediums. Very experienced, very prolific. I think Beck Mongolian Chop Squad is about music, and she worked on that, so shows about music that have people to work on them normally know a lot about music. She worked on Ico and did a little bit of work on Twilight Princess, so that's cool as well. I like both those soundtracks. Again, has an association with Night is Short Walk On Girl, as well as Tatami Time Machine Blues, as well as various other Yuasa Science Saru things. The art director is Shinichi Uehara. One of the most exciting aspects about Tatami Galaxy from the outside looking in is the art style. Uehara has worked on the backgrounds for a ton of shows, Cardcaptor Sakura, The Eccentric Family, Steins Gate, as well as working with the late Satoshi Kon on Paprika, Tokyo Godfathers, Millennium Actress, and Perfect Blue. Notable art director roles include Beck Mongolian Chop Squad as well, Kids on the Slope, and Paranoia Agent, also with Satoshi Kon. Seemingly knows what he's doing, even if me, a pleb, hasn't seen much of his work. So, in summary, a lot of the staff, I haven't seen a lot of their work, but I know it's considered quite good. So for me, this is quite exciting. Get to experience kind of the work of a bunch of prolific people that seem very talented that I haven't in the past. And that is always exciting. So I'm looking forward to watching the show. I'm just going to bring up the key visual quickly for me to have a look at. So I've got it up there. Seemingly has a female main character, I'm guessing. who is looking through a pair of binoculars with a bird on top of them. There's also a dude in the bottom corner who is seemingly lying down, potentially on a tatami mat. Uh, Again, things are kind of splayed everywhere. She's missing part of her arm. I don't know what you'd call the art style. It's kind of simple, but also pretty effective, pretty artsy. Uh, Seemingly, the people involved know what they're doing. The colors are really nice. Kind of this muted feeling to it all. It's got a classic kind of border. Reminds me of a lot of books that you would see in an older library. Kind of like this 80s or 70s style to it all. The characters are seemingly of college age, maybe? They don't seem like they're high schoolers anyway. But yeah, maybe she's bird watching. That's a bit of a stretch, but that's about all I can grab from the whole key visual situation there, other than it looking really good. So all this combined, what are my expectations slash predictions? Well, this show is considered quite good, so I'm expecting a good show. Potentially a college setting for this show. That would be interesting. You don't get a lot of anime based around college age. You normally get kind of your more seinen stuff, which is older than that and into the workplace and that kind of thing. Or you get a lot of shows about high schoolers. I expect good art in this show, probably buoyed with some decent animation to go along with it. That'd be nice. It's kind of the most outstanding aspect from the outside looking in, me knowing nothing about the plot or anything. The other question I would have is, what does Tatami Galaxy mean? What is a Tatami Galaxy? Tatami are like tatami mats, right? And then those mats make up something as vast as maybe a galaxy. So, taking that metaphor further, something small with seemingly astronomical implications, something to that effect. We're going to have to see. Just one more thing before we jump in, just my shill stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm doing Monogatari series at the moment and Panty and Stocking. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation slash analysis slash anything else. Please comment below. And I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter at the moment, so if you watch this video and like what I'm doing, follow me on Twitter, where I tweet about anime sometimes and will follow and retweet your stuff and that kind of jazz. Without any further ado, I'm just going to jump into the first episode. Rightio, I've got the first episode of Tatami Galaxy up here ready to go. I see a squiggly line on screen. That's all I really see. So nothing really to gather from that, I don't think. The time code on this one is 22 minutes and 50 seconds. I'll pop it up on screen. That should demonstrate a little bit of the sub. If it doesn't, then I'll fix it later. There should be a picture-in-picture version of this video down in the description below if you wanted to follow along like that. And yeah, we're just going to jump right in, I think. Rightio. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Uh, Rap God? Okay, Neko Ramen. The dialogue, bruh. Well, I love the art style. Oh, it's Quagmire with a ponytail. He seemed to enjoy the ramen though. That's okay. He's just enjoying himself. Okay. Is that a location? Okay. Boarding house? Okay, this is a lot. Okay. It's a mouthful. His face. Everyone's just like rap god. Yeah. Okay. You seem like peas in a pod a little bit. You two. Okay. Yes. The Fate. Who the hell's Ozukun? Musubi? Oh, opening? Great. That was a lot, but I think I get it. Let me focus on the opening instead of expounding what I think is happening. Cool. I don't know who that last person was. Some of the character designs are really cool. Yeah, like that lady's. Oh, that's it's Woody's Roundup. I think I understand where the whole Tatami theme is coming from anyway. Oh, Asian Kung Fu Generation. They're cool. I like that band. Okay, I'm guessing that's Akashi-san is the main female character there. Who's this like Chad guy? Okay. Seems to have a pretty broad cast. I wonder what the episodic structure will be like. Madhouse. Oh, I thought my video stopped then. Of course, a rose colored campus life. The tennis circle? Well, yeah. I also suck at tennis. My serves were left unreturned. Tennis isn't for me. Okay, you seem like a demon man. Okay, that's Ozu. He literally looks like a gremlin. The devil. Worthless character. Yeah, life's just like that. Oh, that looks awesome. Glasses on, binoculars on. She's just drinking by herself. It's a bit of a mood. Engineering, huh? Of course. We all heard you. Epic. Yes. Oh my god. Raining hellfire. Alright, she seems cool. There's something like classic, like historically Japanese about what they just did, right? Okay, so they like break people up. Black Cupid, like opposite of Cupid. Okay. This is one of those like smart people shows. The dialogue's making me chuckle. Okay. Yeah, I saw her in the opening. You may be being manipulated. Okay. I don't know. She's my dentist. He's getting turned on at the dentist. Well, that's nice. This guy thinks he's good. With the tennis ball, that's clever. It reminds me a bit of Hyoka in kind of its theming. You are a demon, Ozu. Mm-hmm. Hello, Akashi-san. That was sick. Okay. The background there was awesome. Yeah, she's a bit cold. Two seem kind of made for each other, kind of equally awful. Hmm. What is a Castella? Oh, it's like a cake. Okay. Ho. Yeah, you may be down bad. Aren't you supposed to go to a certain room with him? I mean, I agree. Imagine being a god and worrying about the relationships of like random college students. Yeah, this kind of like dichotomy, right? Where he's like the black cupid, right? Mm. And then the comparison between him and Ozu. You're all kind of awful, which is fun. And that he ate the whole cake. I ate the whole thing. Oh, but it's only natural. This seems nice. You guys should go eat Neko ramen. Oh, that's fun. A little stress ball. Great. Clearly. The colors here are so nice. Yo, you found it. Do you still have it? Yeah. Should give that to her. I think it's time for a change. Can't be like that forever. Oh, this is nice. So you went early in the morning. Okay. It's time for Quagmire. Okay. Before 8 p.m., yeah. On a rendezvous. Yeah, get going. I wonder if that guy really is a god. Expressive character animation through character design changes. It's very cool. Spit it out, big dog. Come on. No. Come on, man. No. I scared to Neko Ramen. Okay, you gremlin man. That's fun, jumping. That was great too. Instead of being thrown into the river. Oh, that looks sick too. Oh, we going back? Did we reverse time? I guess we're gonna have to see. I mean, how rough's the water? Would they like literally die? I mean, this ending's really cool. Kind of got this like flow plan thing going on. Still don't know clearer as to why it's called Tatami Galaxy, but still cool. It's kind of a bop though. So is this by a madhouse? I missed that during my kind of staff wrap up. That was kind of a lot, but we're going to jump into a little bit of analysis now. Potentially, we can go through a bit of the dialogue in a bit of a slower speed and actually give it a bit of a read. So, that was a lot, to say the least. I think one spot I can start is something I forgot to mention during my starting portion, which is this show is made by Madhouse. Now, this distinction is getting less and less relevant these days, but you know Madhouse, right? What have I got here in the most popular shows? Death Note, One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, No Game No Life, Parasite, Death Parade, Overlord, High School of the Dead, Black Lagoon, Monster, Overlord again, Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Wolf Children, is that what it's called? Nana, Perfect Blue, Ori Monogatari, Paprika, Place Further Than the Universe, Chihaya Furu, one of my personal favorites. Basically everything. You also got the connection there to Beck Mongolian Chop Squad as well. Even Sunny Boy recently I really enjoyed as well. And I think Tatami Galaxy came out in 2010, and that can be kind of considered Madhouse's best period. So add it to the list of fantastic Madhouse shows from that period of time. Well, at least in the first episode, anyway. I had a quick look at the voice actor as well because I thought I might have recognized the voice actor for the main character, but I did not. So I must have been mistaken there. However, the episode itself, yeah, again, it was a lot. Lucky I do this format where now I go through the episode again and pause when I find interesting stuff and that kind of thing. Here I might find a lot of the jokes I missed and that kind of jazz. That as well as talk about general story stuff and visual techniques and animation style and a bunch of stuff. Anything that comes in my head really. So I'm just going to pop that up on screen now. Something I failed to mention is I think these what's the subtrack called? The opportunity subs? Is that the name of the episode or the name of the sub people? Either way, that's the subs I'm using. I'm very happy to change them if you have a better option. But yeah, I'm just going to pause it whenever I find something interesting to talk about. So here we go. Okay, so takes place in Kyoto. Seems to be very, at least traditionally Japanese tinged. Uh, with also an emphasis on college life. I was right in that aspect anyway, that it does involve a university, which is cool. Again, not an often traveled path for anime adaptation, so should be good. Should be a little bit unique at least. So we got kind of this opening scene where our main character, I don't know if he has a name yet, to receive matchmaking and all kinds of other blessings from gods, they go to this certain shrine to essentially matchmake, right? Hence why the god of matchmaking visits him whilst he's eating some ramen at the Neko Cafe. Neko Cafe, Neko Ramen, something to that effect. Our first real scene of the show is kind of here in this ramen cart, where our main character is eating some ramen and he is visited by a supposed god, the god of matchmaking. I'll just grab a name for him as well quickly. Kamotake Su Kamatake Sunumi no Kami. Say that 5 times really fast. We're going to call him Kamatake, I think. Or whatever they end up calling him, I don't know. Anyway, his character design is like Glenn Quagmire, and that's really thrown me off. It threw me off initially, anyway. Um, giggity giggity goo indeed. The god of matchmaking. Either way, he seemingly lives at the same kind of dorm house as our main character here. And our main character recounts that he's seen him around this dorm house a number of different times, just thinking of him as like a weird guy. The dorm house also seems to be run down. I think the main character refers to it as kind of having a lot of the same elements from ages ago from like a historical building, which yeah, doesn't seem like a great place to dorm, but I digress. I think this might be as good a spot as any to talk about the character animation, which I think is the most striking kind of thing in this show visually that really wowed me. How they get such exaggerated expressions out of these characters that are fairly simply drawn. Normally, when I think about good character animation, I turn to someone like Kyoto Animation, who puts an extraordinary amount of detail into everything they do. As a result, people think their shows can sometimes be a little bit squeaky clean. They don't really have that kind of rough edge. And I'm getting a bit more of that from here, I think. Definitely funny character animation. Get a lot of good faces, unique faces. Again, it doesn't need to be photorealistic, doesn't need to be on character. They can kind of have fun with it. I think that's kind of one of the most notable things about Yuasa is that he likes to do stuff like this, right? It's not about photorealism, it's about conveying emotion a little bit more, which is somewhat admirable, I think. So Kamatake, the supposed god, knows everything about him, kind of regales his life story back at him, including his 2 years mulling over his time at the tennis club and being kind of an incel. And this is fun because it gets a little preview in the background here of kind of the scenes we'll see later, as well as a great example of the exaggerated faces I was talking about from before. Also mentions a certain character called Ozu, who may have influenced him to be this way. So then Glenn Quagmire kind of expands a little bit. He's like, okay, soon we'll make our way to Izumo at a certain time of year, and we'll decide to matchmake a bunch of couples. Here is the name of Akashi-san, whom you know. And here is the names of yourself and Ozu. And here he kind of spills the beans. I'm going to decide the fate of you and Akashi-san, or Akashi-san and Ozu. He's going to play matchmaker. Kind of gives him a little bit of information that, hey, come to this certain dorm room at a certain time and I'll give you a bit of advice on the subject if that tickles your fancy. So initially, I thought this was a prank. Like, I thought this guy was pranking him. I also thought that he might have thought that he was pranking him as well. But now I'm not so sure after that ending. We'll get to it, but something happens. So I can only believe that this is the central conceit of the story going forward. Will he convince this god to matchmake him with Akashi-san, or matchmake Akashi-san with Ozu? As we learn that Ozu is later like a gremlin man. I can't see it's much of a competition, but we'll see, I guess. Potentially it's going to be something to the effect of, oh, I didn't matchmake you together in the book, I matchmade you in real life, or something like that. I don't know. We're gonna see, because he kind of seems like a wingman in that scene at the end. But and now we jump into our opening. The opening features a visual technique that we'll see a lot throughout the show, which is kind of I'm guessing this is like a real life shot that they've put a number of visual effects over to make it seem, I don't know, a little more dreary, like the whites. I know the contrast is way up on it, if that makes any sense. Like, even when there's color in the image, the lights stick out a lot and the darks darken a lot. As with a lot of different shows, I think the visual technique here is trying to evoke a feeling of us, the audience, living in their space, if that makes any sense, even if it's a tad dreamlike. I'll talk about it again when it comes up, but it comes up a lot, and I think it's a good technique. I enjoy looking at it. It breaks up the animation a lot. When they place the characters over this kind of stuff, this live action kind of background, I think it's effective as well. Again, one to monitor. In the opening in particular, we see a lot of the different character designs for the show overlaid over this background as we walk through. I'm guessing this is the dorm rooms. I may give the lyrics a quick squiz here, but from what I was reading about the ending as well, when I was reading the lyrics there, it seems like it's tangentially related. Potentially that could be something like Akashi-san's POV, but again, we're going to have to say. Or maybe like a female perspective of kind of the main character's journey as well in the ending. Again, I don't know. I'm going to read the lyrics of this opening now as well. Reading through the lyrics, they're seemingly about, I don't know, kind of like the outcasts of society and that kind of thing, and moving forward from that. Kind of tangentially related to the show again. Doesn't seem to be character POV centric, such as the Monogatari series, but I like the song. I like the band as well. Asian Kung Fu Generation are very cool. So yeah. And again, right here at the ending, I thought my video like stopped. I was like freaking out for a second, but it didn't, which was nice. The use of the different drawing techniques and the colors in these dream sequences is quite nice, especially when we get to the tennis club shots. Again, this is kind of his rose-colored college life. Again, very similar to Hyoka, which I mentioned in the reaction portion. Hyoka is one of my personal favorites, so if we get a story that's about somebody potentially being a little bit cynical, falling in love, I don't know, may resonate a little bit, I think. I don't know why he chose the tennis club. He doesn't seem like a tennis kind of guy. He seems like a guy that would write like edgy poetry. So, a weird choice there. He got his little heart broken by somebody in the tennis club, supposedly, and nice little visual metaphor with the tennis ball that they're standing on getting cut in half. Bunch of tennis puns in the little dialogue. I don't know if that's sub specific or there's some Japanese ones in there. Either way, it's pretty funny. Like, my rally wasn't returned. So yeah, he's trying to be like a sociable guy at college, turning over a new leaf, but he runs into some obstacles and turns to the dark side a little bit. And that dark side is represented by a man named Ozu, who, yeah, seems like a bit of a demon boy in more ways than one. Further to my point about character design and that kind of thing, you could tell just looking at Ozu that he's like up to no good. I'm wondering if there's any kind of classical literature reference there with this whole story or anything. Seems like that kind of vibe. But they're kind of crouched here at the riverbank, watching the popular kids from afar, about to set off a bunch of rockets in their general direction. A little bit anti-social, anti the popular cliques, I guess. There was one other thing I wanted to check as well. Is this a manga adaptation or a light novel adaptation or anything to that effect? I'm just going to check that quickly. Based on a novel. With the amount of dialogue in it, I'm not surprised. Let's put it that way. Very writerly, very like smart show so far, you know what I mean? So let's read some of these. Selfish, picks on the weak, hates vegetables, sucks up to the strong, worthless character, grades dangerously low, lazy, no pride, the devil, doesn't care as long as it's funny, fast at running away. I think the main character there says something to the effect of 8 out of 10 people would recognize him as a yokai in the dark. Again, just like smart dialogue, you know? Made me chuckle anyway. The only problem with the dialogue, and I don't know if it's a problem yet or I got used to it, is it's extremely quick. So you got to be on your toes here. It's not going to be a casual watch for me at all. But I don't care. That's what this is for. And that's what me going back through it now is for as well. There's a cute little visual technique here with the background where when he puts on his glasses, the blurred background comes a little bit more into focus, but not entirely. Yeah, he kind of sees Akashi-san over the other side of the river, who calls him an idiot. Aho, she says, which is fun. And he immediately thinks that they should call it off for the day. Sees her drinking alone too, which is quite funny. Akashi-san so far seems like kind of a mood, just outwardly kind of terrible. Like they're all kind of terrible, right? But I don't know. There's something about her. She's a bit quirky. I like it. I haven't really talked about Yuasa's influence yet, but I think a lot of that is a bit more subtle in this show. The show just really flows very well from scene to scene. It's obviously put together well, it's storyboarded well, and it flows. It flows like it should. It feels right. I felt the episode glide by. I didn't notice any noticeable like slow points. Maybe that helped with the rapid fire dialogue and me needing to keep focus, but it's worth admiration anyway. In particular, I wanted to highlight this shot where Akashi-san is kind of hiding behind this tree and we see the chaos erupting in the background. Full of character, tells the story in a great way. And yeah, a bit of pizzazz about it. It's good. Again, this is a great little dream sequence. This is like a visual representation of our two leads, I guess, our two friends, Ozu and our main character, kind of breaking up all these couples in the tennis club. They're kind of highlighted with the black outline, where the rest are in the orange. Again, separates them from the clique that has established in the tennis club. So eventually they got kicked out of the club, but they expanded globally, and they started breaking up relationships all over the college. So they're very cool guys. Again, they're kind of awful, but I think they're supposed to be. They're aware of it as well, anyway. This fortune teller here, as well as the our mate at the start, Kamotake, I think his name was. So I'm Shakespearean, and they're a little bit of foreshadowing for the future. So let's see what she has to say. He immediately buys it, whatever she's saying, because she gives him a backhanded compliment. Well, not really backhanded, but like kind of a hidden compliment. He's like, yes, I am smart. She gets me completely. It's like pretty funny. Anyway, I sense there's an opportunity you can't let pass by, as in an excellent chance. The opportunity is always dangling in front of your eyes. You must grab this opportunity and act on it. And if you do not, you will walk this life as you are now, ever unchanging. So, as I'm interpreting it right now, the opportunity is Akashi-san and the kind of lovemaking, matchmaking thing they've got going on with Kamotake. So he has to take that opportunity right now. Otherwise, he will be the same kind of cold, bitter person that he is at the moment. If not a little bit funny as a result, either way. Oh yeah, and then Ozu-san starts like getting with his dentist and says something weird about having her fingers in his mouth. Anyway, This guy really is a gremlin. From Ozu talking about his dentist, they get on to talking about Akashi-san. Our main character says he'd rather have his raven-haired maiden than someone who is able to comprehend a person such as myself. Obviously, he thinks of himself quite highly. Obviously, still a little bit of wishful thinking based on what happened during his freshman year. That person in freshman year is named Kohinata-san. So we'll see if she comes back in the story in some way. There was a lot of characters in the opening, so it is possible. After all, it doesn't matter which path you take. You'll keep ending up right where you are now. Again, in reference to what happens at the end of the episode, I'm wondering if we're doing a time loop thing. We're going to have to see. I think we might. Like, he might relive some of the earlier parts of his college life, potentially. Gonna have to see. But this line might be a little bit of a foreshadowing there. Akashi-san enters the scene here as Ozu exits, and they begin to have their first real conversation of the show, I guess. Get to talking about meat, and she seemingly wants to eat a bunch during this after party that they have going on. Seems to be focused on the meat right now, old Akashi-san. Buoyed by this great little piece of character animation here, as we kind of see her take a sip of her drink. And I follow her kind of body all the way down. Again, we're not worried about these characters staying on model. We're worried about what their animation can represent about what they're doing. She's scoffing down the food and drinking very quickly. This expresses that. It's quite well done. I like it. So I'm guessing the rest of the crowd didn't know that they were there. This being the crowd that they sent the fireworks at. So she'll handle the bill. You head at the back. That's what I came to tell you. She's kind of got his back. It's nice. It's another great example of the background technique they have going on. Semi-realistic with the characters placed on top of the scene. So this is obviously a picture of some kind of fair in real life. She's a year younger than he is, hence she calls him senpai. Said to be in the engineering department, so she's kind of in a different thing going on. I don't know what our main character is studying, but I don't think it's engineering. And she's running the book fair. She sees somebody trying to kind of chat her up about something and gives him a very cold look, such as this shoplifter who gets the laser eyes treatment, as well as this seemingly popular person trying to strike up a conversation who kind of gets icicled. So that's fun. We get another metaphor here, which is used later in this scene, of the castella, which is a cake of some kind, I'm guessing, which he promptly eats all of in kind of a rage-induced tantrum of sorts. He finds himself randomly thinking about Akashi-san. Just apropos of nothing. Maybe I should share this cake with her. It's not like I'm in love with her or anything. But he can't stop thinking about it, you know? Our main character here kind of posits, the one who hinders love, can I forgive myself for changing the way I live to be someone in love? Is that compatible? Am I allowed to love? All these kind of questions, right? Or am I merely entertainment to the gods, or people pretending to be gods? He begins thinking about Akashi-san with Ozu. I feel like her compassion may be deep enough to find a monstrous man like him intriguing. Again, very rightly. I like it. Classy. This prompts the eating of the cake, which then prompts him to look up at a certain visual object. Kind of the moth catches his eye, or something to that effect. I think it's a moth, actually, because that would tie into the next scene. And he sees this, I guess it's like a stuffed toy, hanging from the ceiling. And we kind of get this memory here between Akashi and our main character. And this is really nice. It's demonstrated by, again, they've got this background thing going on with the semi-realistic high contrast image, but the colors placed on top. Very warm colors. It's giving me like spring vibes or late summer vibes. You know what I mean? Kind of love blooming, that kind of thing, right? And these two seemingly hit it off. Akashi gets scared by the moth, again buoyed by some great character animation. I'll try and find it here. See, I like the character design changes, right? It's very fun. To cope with the moth in her face, she grabs one of her little plushies that she has, but she notes that she has 5 but has lost one, to which our main character says that he will find it. He's going to find it, well, he says he's going to find it, but she instead wants a date of sorts at the Neko Ramen Cafe. So yeah, this little stuffed toy is in his possession, kind of a reminder of that fateful meeting they had one day in the past, and gets him thinking about Akashi-san and finally going to our guy Kamotake, who is going to matchmake them eventually. He stumbles in his sleep deprived state to door 201, where this character is presiding. He looks a little bit different here, probably equally sleep deprived. And they say that they're going to meet here at night. He's kind of got this little stuffed animal thing in his hand as well. And the guy tells him, well, she's going to approach the bridge from that direction about this time. You're going to walk in the opposite direction and you're going to ask her out on a date. And he's like, what? I thought you guys were just going to matchmake me. It's like, well, you got to do some of the work too. You got to lay the groundwork. Bit of first person stuff here, kind of emphasizing how nervous he is about the whole situation. There's kind of the fire lighting around him. It's very claustrophobic. And we see Akashi-san approach. This was another spot that I think was buoyed by fantastic character animation, just very rigid, demonstrates how nervous he is in this situation, and ultimately doesn't ask her out on a date. Kind of chickens out in a way. It's kind of got this robot thing going on, this kind of Tetronimo thing going on as well. It's quite nice. There's a massive pause in his dialogue when he's speaking, and we see his character design change from this back to normal once her eyes are off him. I don't really know what this is, but Ozu seems to be speaking kind of in third person and with knowledge of the story at hand. Or maybe that's part of the joke as well. I'm unsure. Either way, he's dressed up like a woman, and everybody tries to throw him under the bridge into the rapid water. Yeah, now's the time to grab this opportunity. Like, he may be talking about something else entirely, but it can be interpreted as, kind of meta knowledge of the story. Again, very writerly, very smart. Kind of the various people, I'm guessing, from these clubs want to push him into the water, or the people whose love he's ruined. Ozu falls into the water, they direct their attention towards our main character, and toss him overboard as well. And then we kind of get this feeling here, this kind of, let me tell you how I got into this situation type vibe from it. I can't shake off the feeling of regret for choosing the tennis circle Cupid in front of that fateful clock tower. If I had chosen some other circle, I would have surely spent quite a different 2 years. I might have grasped the mystical treasure known as the rose-colored campus life. We see the clock start to reverse, and time move backwards. Kind of the shots are reversed there as well. The whole episode is reversed, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Which brings us straight into our ED. Now the ED slapped, and it's got something to do with the kind of the tatami floor, the floor plan of our little campus area, our little dorm area, which is cool. But I want to talk a bit more about the seeming premise of the show going forward, which is going to be maybe him choosing different lines through these 2 years and seeing how that changes things. I wonder if you'll have conscious knowledge of this, or maybe all you'll know is that he does something different. Again, we don't know, and again, I could be completely off base. This couldn't be like time reversing at all, but it sure seems like it. Which is fun. I like time travel stories, so this should be cool. I'm gonna imagine there's something revolving around the fate of Ozu and Akashi-san all coming together with our main character in the end, no matter what he does. Maybe that's where our galaxy thing comes in, kind of this broadness of time travel and that kind of thing applied to this college life. Again, we'll have to see, but that was a very good first episode. I probably won't go into as much depth in the future because there was a lot of different stuff to talk about that wasn't just the plot. I had to talk about production and stuff and all those kind of stuff. So I should go a little bit smoother in the future. I'd like to do 2 of these a week, but again, they are very dense. We'll see how we go. But that's going to wrap it up for today. This show's really good in a way that I'm not really used to. I'm not used to like these well-written anime. I can count on like one hand the number of anime that I would call moment-to-moment dialogue well-written. So add this to the list, I guess. It made me chuckle a couple times, and that's always good. Either way, good recommendation. I'm going to keep watching it. And that's about it. See you next week. But before that, just some chill stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, including Monogatari series and Panty and Stocking, subscribe to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation. And I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so if you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. I think that about wraps it up. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next week.